I at 30 don't have the best relationship with my husband's mom. Since day one she tried to make remarks and compare me to her. She then tried to get on my good side, and started overly praising everything I do, and sometimes even copying me, like that one time when she literally dyed her hair purple just like mine, and when everyone pointed out how ridiculous she looked, she actually blamed me and accused me of trying to make a joke out of her. So, anyways. My husband and I took 2 weeks off work to go visit some places out of the country, tourism in other words. Thing is, I was the one who saved up for and arranged for the trip. My husband was responsible for booking the tickets. My husband's mom wanted to come along and threw temper tantrums when I said no. She called, texted, sent people to talk to me into letting her come, even threatened to call the police and make some complaint up to get us to stay if she can't come. My husband said we should just take her, but I told him he was wrong to tell her about the trip in the first place. He gave me an ultimatum. Said he wouldn't go if she can't come, and I told him I'd gladly call his bluff, which made him take his words back and say fine. I will tell her to stop it because we won't take her. Things got quieter, suspiciously quieter. The day of the trip came and we got to the airport at 2 p.m. My husband was walking ahead of me and was looking left and right like he was looking for someone. I asked him, but he didn't respond. He leads me to the waiting area, and first thing I saw was his mom standing there with her luggage. I froze in my spot. I felt a cold wave washing over me, and I was fuming inside. She and my husband were hugging. That's when I quietly turned around and started walking towards the exit. My husband followed me while shouting at me to stop. He tried to stop me, but I told him off the harshest way possible. He tried to say I was overreacting, and that his mom was there anyway, and I should let it go and not mess the trip up for us. I told him he and his mom could still go and that I was going home. I went home and sobbed into my dog's fur for several minutes. Turned out he booked her a ticket without me knowing. An hour later he came home yelling and raging about how pathetic and spiteful I was to walk out and go home and ruin the trip last minute. I told him he caused this to happen. He said that I was being so hard on his mom, it's ridiculous. I refused to fight anymore, but he kept on berating me, then called my family to tell them that the trip was cancelled and that it was because of me. My family said that I shouldn't have ruined it for myself and should have swallowed it up and done my best to enjoy. Did I really overreact? Not the idiot. You ruined nothing. You merely opted not to go on the trip. Your husband and his mother could have still gone. They made up their own minds not to go. So anyone in your family says you canceled the trip, tell them no, your husband and his mother canceled their own trip and leave it at that. Accept no blame. Your family thinks you should have swallowed it up. They're free to have all the vacations they want with her. Tell them that. Hell, even offer to share her contact information for their future trips, if they are such experts in what is and isn't tolerable. It wasn't their call, so their opinions are worthless. Not the idiot, you did not overreact. Wow, your husband is the idiot, so it is mom. Be sure you want to be married to someone who prioritizes his mom over you, who lies to your face, who agrees to something and does the opposite, and when you get mad, he blames you. Ugh, there are so many things wrong with his behavior. You deserve so much more and so much better from a partner and husband. You should be his #1 priority. He's the extreme idiot in this situation, and the fact that he can't see he did anything wrong would probably make me want to break up my marriage, but that is just me. Not the idiot. Regardless of your relationship with your mother-in-law, it should always be okay to sometimes wanting to go on vacation with just your spouse, especially if you're the one who saved for it. It's just a different kind of vacation if 3 people are going together. One often ends up as third wheel, and by the way your husband and mother-in-law behaves, it will probably be you. Even if you loved your mother-in-law, you still have the right to not wanting her to tag along on a vacation. But your husband's behavior is concerning. He doesn't respect your boundaries. He even helps his mom to cross your boundaries, and when you repeat your no and follow through with it, he calls your family and blames you for ruining everything. I'm 31 meters and my ex-wife is 29F. Hands down the best woman I have ever met in my life. She has such a pure heart, and she is filled with nothing but good. It's been a cold and miserable 2 years without her, and Lord knows I miss her so much. In 2018 my brother was wrongfully convicted and sentenced to 26 years in prison. His wife filed for divorce and terminated his parental rights within the first month. He lost everything. This absolutely destroyed me mentally. He protected me as a child, and all the way through our teens while in foster care, and I felt like I had to protect him the same way. I spent thousands on lawyers. Checked myself into therapy. Tried getting on meds for my depression that was severe. I barely spoke. I shut my wife out. I tried so hard to fake being happy and I couldn't. She knew me well enough too, so she knew. And I watched it slowly destroy her. One night I heard her just crying. Like sobbing, hyperventilating, and it freaking killed me, and I just knew I couldn't do that to her anymore. I told her she deserved better and walked. She refused to sign divorce papers. Said you're gonna get better and you're gonna come back to me where you belong. But we haven't spoken since March 2021. I saw her at the grocery and it felt like I lost her all over again when she stopped hugging me. Now by some miracle all evidence was reviewed 4 months ago, and they found my brother innocent of all charges last week. I picked him up 3 days ago from prison. One of the best freaking days of my life. So my mom texts me an address and tells me to bring my brother there. When we arrive to this cabin, mom hands my brother the keys and says, "Mel built this for you." Mel is my wife. Apparently she started the project a year and a half ago, after our separation. She left a note to me saying, "I knew you could do it, love them." My brother started saying he wants to bring her out on a date to thank her, and I just lost it a little. Told him I was not comfortable with that. He argued that I let her go and had no right to be a possessive idiot. Ma says that Mel dropped the keys and the note off the morning I picked up my brother. I feel like you are the idiot is kind of severe, but you're making this about you when it isn't. I mean, yes, she did something amazing for you, and that's probably a good sign for your relationship, but it's perfectly reasonable for your brother to want to thank someone for such a generous act. If she isn't interested in him, it will just be a dinner, which is totally fine and normal, and flexing possessiveness is going to make you look like you are the idiot. And if she is interested in him, doubtful, then in that case you need to remember that you broke it off with her, and you don't get a say about that anymore. It's the risk we take when we leave someone we still love. I'm not going to judge a man who still loves his ex not wanting his brother to date her. I'm going to judge a man who gets out of prison, and instead of immediately trying to see his kids and regain rights, would rather date his former sister-in-law. I have to say, it seems you love her and she loves you. Call her. See if she will go to therapy with you. I know hearing her cry was awful and you feel guilty. The thing is, the people we love will cause tears sometimes. When the love is strong, all the feelings are. She hurt for you and for her. Her tears didn't stop when you left. You just weren't around to hear them. If you feel guilty for making someone cry, work on what caused the tears, don't leave them to cry alone. Not the idiot. However, YWBA, if you don't contact her now, and fix your relationship with her, your brother, it seems, isn't and never was the angel you remember him as. He made passes at your GF when you were dating more than once. Now he's out of prison and the first thing he wants to do is hurt you by dating your wife. The person who went through hell and back for him, and his first move is to hurt you. Mel wasn't comfortable with him then, and if anything still wants OP back. Brother has seen the gesture she made to OP, and still thinks asking her out is a good idea. He didn't take no for an answer before, he probably isn't going to now. You might need to protect Mel from him. Too now. I live in an apartment with 3 bedrooms, 1 large room, a smaller room and a room which they marketed as a bedroom, but is essentially a hyped-up broom closet that barely fits a 1-person bed. I use the large room as a bedroom and the second biggest room as an office for my work, which is mostly done online even before Corona, so I can't do without it, and the smallest room is not big enough to house my setup and files, and unless I massively downsize my bed, it doesn't fit in my room either, hence the office. The smallest room is set up as a guest room with a single bed, wall-mounted TV and a small closet. It's cramped, but given it is usually just used for a few days by my cousins and friends, it works fine. The rest of the place is rather average normal apartment, small living room with a kitchen and bathroom. My mom made a series of very dumb financial decisions since my dad died 3 years ago, and with her losing her job due to Corona, she had to sell her house to pay several debts. Let me be clear that the money she had could have had her living comfortably for the rest of her life without ever working again. She called me one day, explained the situation, and after a long argument I relented and allowed her to move in with me, until she got back on her feet, which I was angry about, because I was on the brink of moving in with my GF, and this put that plan on hold for the foreseeable future. Well, since she moved in it has been hellish. She complains every damn day about the smallest crap. It only got somewhat better when she finally got a job, so she is out of the house for several hours. It honestly feels like I live with my parent when in reality she lives with me. I obviously put her in the guest room, and that has since been her primary aim for complaining. Not a day goes by where she does not witch about wanting the office as her room as it is bigger. Obviously that's not happening. Yesterday she had a friend over. Afterwards we got in another argument, where she started yelling at me for not giving her any privacy, because I dared to go into my own kitchen to make a sandwich while she had her friend over. I finally lost my crap and said what it says in the title along with some choice words, and I am off the mind to kick her out at this point, even knowing she got nowhere to go. She has made a scene about it towards her siblings and other family who have since reached out to me to tell me how much of an ungrateful son of a witch I am to talk to my mom like that. So I am here for outside judgment. Not the idiot. And you know it. The question is where to go from here. You said that plans to move in with your girlfriend were put on hold when your mom moved in. What were those plans exactly? Was she planning to move in with you, or were you going to look for a new place for the two of you? When does your current lease expire? Give your mom a move-out date right now and do it in writing. If your mom has nowhere else to go, it's because none of these complaining relatives want to house her. They are ganging up on you because they are afraid that they will be forced to step up. Not the idiot. Your mother sounds entitled, ungrateful, and outright rude. You can acknowledge that she's going through a hard time and gave you life without being a doormat for her. Sometimes parents have these unreasonable expectations from their adult children. Instead of being grateful she has a roof over her head and can try to work, save, move back out on her own, it sounds like she plans to live with you until death and wants you to inconvenience your life, work, routine, relationship to cater to her needs. You're not the idiot nor out of line. Family members that don't like it are free to take her in. You're ungrateful. You let your mother move in with you, and they have the audacity to tell you that you're ungrateful. The next time one of your siblings tells you that, be sure to inform them that you'll bring your mother, along with all of her stuff, over to her place that same evening. They couldn't be bothered to take her in, but you're the one who is ungrateful. Please. You're not ungrateful at all. The only one who is ungrateful here is your mother. You are absolutely right. If she wants privacy, then she can move out. Frankly, you put up with her crap longer than necessary. It's time to give her a deadline as to when she needs to be out by. P. 29F. I'm 4 months pregnant with my fiancé M's, 34 meters, and my first child. His family on the whole are very welcoming and often include me, except for some comments that they make that really hurt my feelings. These comments always refer to me not being a part of the family. At our engagement, his parents wanted to throw it for us. I made a speech saying thank you to the best-in-laws, and his mom made a statement in front of everyone how I shouldn't say that as we are not family yet. I would like to add that his mom has had a few phone calls with M's ex-girlfriend in front of me, where she would reminding the ex that they are family. 2 days ago the mom said that she wanted family photos, but could only do it once my baby was born as I won't be family until then. The whole family then proceeds to tell me how we mustn't be too sure that we are having a boy, and I am not allowed to buy boys' clothes that rained on our parade as we were happy with the news. We would have been thrilled either way, and feel like it is because they thought we were going to have a girl. Emma first told me that they are joking with me, and that they wouldn't if I wasn't family when I tried to talk to him about him. He has recently started to see things from my side when I pointed out my family doesn't do this. Go to today. I am on a family group and the uncle posts this exact message. Dear family and P. I want to have a get-together for my birthday and was planning a day out in the countryside on Sunday. Is everyone available? And P. I sobbed and lost it. I phoned M and said I am leaving the group. Before I left I replied sorry, but I have family things that day and exited. His uncle thinks that I can't take a joke. M supports me with this and understands why I am hurt, but a part of me feels like maybe I overreacted, and what if I just can't take a joke? Am I the idiot? Remember this, you, M and baby are a family now, the rest are extended family, and I would make that very clear to him. You may not have a piece of paper that says you're legally bound yet, but you've made the commitment, and that's what matters. I would give them the benefit of the doubt for now, since M and sis-in-law have your back, but if this continues, mom-in-law needs to understand her relationship with Elo, depends a lot on her respecting Elo's mama. Stand your ground, because a lot of mom-in-law will take the mile every time you give an inch. Having little problems dealt with now will prevent big problems to be dealt with later. You're a few months away from having their son's first child, and giving them a grandchild or a niece or nephew, and they don't consider your family yet. And the clueless uncle thinks you can't take a joke. You may have seen what people often write here. When someone says, it's only a joke, where is your sense of humor? Etc. It's because they know they are being idiots and are trying to justify their crappy behavior. If M truly supports you and understands why you are so upset, he needs to have a talk with his child's future grandparents, uncles, and aunts. Not the idiot. Never exactly by words, but my Illinois let me know very clearly that I was not really a member of the family. Oh my god, did it hurt, but after a couple of decades, I began to embrace it, much to the chagrin of my husband. I would refuse to see his family or participate in certain things because I was not family. Hubby would point out that I was his family, which would then devolve into an argument. He finally learned to just be quiet because once entrenched, ideas do not leave me easily, and I had years of examples to prove my point. OP, you're lucky that M and his sister are supporting you. If mother-in-law keeps it up, you might want to say that baby cannot not be around non-relatives like them.